Whoa, thank you so much, Grady. And being a singer, I just know how difficult that song was to pull off. And he's not just sung for us tonight in one Indian language, but that was the second one. And I believe there's one more to go. So a round of applause for that beautiful, beautiful rendition by Grady Long, ladies and gentlemen. That was a song about purpose and determination, very, very fitting for tonight's theme. Talking about tonight's theme, a path to mainstream, I'm sure a lot of us who are not actually debating tonight have questions about what this theme is about, what exactly is tonight's session going to address. So to throw a little bit more light on that, we have a national committee member of the Indo-American Press Club, Mr. Syriac Scaria, and I'd like to invite him on stage here to introduce the theme of tonight's event a little bit more clearly to us. So, Mr. Syriac, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome him on stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I am so excited to introduce the theme of this debate, a path to mainstream. The reasons are many. When this debate idea came for the first time, people from our community asked us one question. What are you going to do with the US election? Well, that's a reasonable question because the Indian community never thought about anything politics here. And I have some research findings about the community of Brazil. Let me read out one by one. Asian American political participation is very low in relation to other ethnic communities. Neither the Democratic nor the Republican parties consistently target Asian American voters. Nearly half of the Asian Americans are politically independent or dormant. Asian Americans do not hold any ideologically driven political views. Last but not the least, the hyphenated American tag disguises internal diversity in experiences and beliefs. Moreover, Asian Americans tend to be stereotyped as highly educated, family-oriented, industrious, as well as self-reliant. But when it comes to politics of the land, they always shy away. However, for the first time in the history of our community, we are going to see a paradigm shift. We have people from the mainstream as well as the Indian community coming together and debating on a serious subject, that is the US political election. After all, when it comes to US politics, it is basically between ideologies and policies and issues. We have more or less a two-party system, and the policies and ideologies and the rhetoric are right in front of us. So it doesn't matter whether the candidates are here or not, as long as we are clear about what the issues are and what the country really needs. This grassroots movement is going to make a big impact on the society. That's why we have the leaders are here. But tomorrow you are going to see the impact maybe with next election or the coming months. So this is a proud moment for all of us because we are making history and we are getting into mainstream. Thank you one and all for being here, and I am looking forward to a great debate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Scaria. That I believe that definitely threw some light on what we are to expect tonight. As you can see, the stage is definitely set for a debate, and I'm sure that's what all of us have been waiting for. So it's that time, it's time for the event of the evening, a path to mainstream, the US presidential election debate that the Indo-American Press Club has organized for us tonight. It's going to be a power-packed discussion. We have a lot of great community leaders, representatives of businesses, immigration, law activists, a lot of community leaders and representatives tonight. Both the Republican speakers as well as the Democratic speakers will be sitting right here. But to kick off this event, we need an apt leader, a moderator, if you will. And he specifically told me not to say a lot of stuff introducing him, but it would be remiss if I did not say that Mr. Scott Brasington has definitely been a backbone of a lot of the causes and events that that happen in the city. He's also a strong supporter of the Press Club and a good friend of Mr. Issues as well, and he works for a large firm tonight. So please help me welcome attorney at law Scott, as he prefers to be called. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him on stage. He will be the moderator for tonight's debate. We'll be explaining the guidelines and inviting the speakers as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peter. I'm going to move over to this side because they're going to try to move the podium over here to the middle. But let me give you a little bit. Welcome to the evening's 2016 presidential debate presented by the Indo-American Press Club Houston chapter. My name is Scott Brasington, and that's about all you'll know about me, hopefully, because like a good baseball umpire, when the game's over, you want to say, this player did great, that player did that, and if you ask who was the umpire, if they say, I don't know, I've done a great job. Okay, so I don't want to say much of anything about myself. Now, our debate is going to follow a format that we're not used to. We've watched over the last 18, 20 months the presidential primary debates, where we had candidates screaming at one another and doing various things. Well, this isn't that kind of debate. Instead, we're going to have more like a Lincoln Douglas debate. We're going to have each one of our speakers come up. The first four that are going to present a 4-minute speech, followed by a member of the opposite party talking about that. And by the way, Judge, I did hear you're back on the ballot. The Democratic Party that was erasing your name when you were talking about he, recognize when she is going to be president, if, as you believe that is, they'll put you back on the ballot again. No, I'm just kidding. It's the only time as an attorney you can pick on a judge. Because if you get in their room and you start picking on them, they throw you in jail and it's a green toothbrush. So, Your Honor, I'm not traveling in Fort Bend County until I hear that you have decided to retire. All right. Specifically, we have 5 speakers representing the Republican and 5 speakers representing the Democratic Party. The first 4 speakers for each side are going to have 4 minutes for their presentation. I will give them a warning about a minute before their time is up. And then I will come in and interrupt them when time is up. So hopefully they have reached their conclusion. Each side will have a final speaker that will be given 10 minutes for their presentation, and I'll give them the same warning, 1 minute, and then time's up. Oh, by the way, I have to say one other thing. One of the candidates for president had a reputation for saying something on his reality TV show. My boss is out in the audience, so if anybody hears you're fired, you know who it's directed to. Okay? I would ask a couple of other things. This year's presidential campaign has been emotional. Nothing can get any worse than the discussion of the size of a man's hands. Or the size of their height, or any other thing. So I would ask that each one of the speakers be respectful of that, and I would ask you as members of the audience to be respectful of the speakers. You may not agree with everything they say, but the most important thing that we found in this democratic institution we call the United States of America is that if we listen to each other, we can find areas of compromise, and we can move forward as a people united. To that, then I would like to invite on the stage, Jacob, are we okay? All right, I'm sorry. I would like to invite up on stage our speakers, and I will introduce them as the time comes for their speech. And I apologize, I am just dropping stuff all over the place. I'm sorry, what was that next statement? I don't care what it comes from. My wife calls me all sorts of names too, and I don't even know what political affiliation she has. No, not in the moment. I'm going to invite him up, but I'll introduce him individually. I've got a copy of that. Thank you, sir. So you can set that down. All right, so I'd like to ask our speakers to come on up front, if you wouldn't mind. This is going to be an enjoyable debate. We are now debating which side of the table we should sit on. If you're old enough, as I am, you can remember back to the Paris Peace Accords ending the Vietnam War, that they spent a half year debating what size the table should be and who should sit on what side. So we've got that going. And you were there. Well, I'm happy to have you there. All right. You can sit down, folks, please. And because of some commitments away from us, I'm going to change the order that appears in the little brochure, and I'm going to ask both Mr. Kendall Baker and Mr. Ron Reynolds to lead off our discussion. And I'm going to start it with Mr. Kendall Baker. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker for the Republican Party, Dr. Kendall Baker. Dr. Baker retired after 29 years of service with the City of Houston and holds a Doctorate of Divinity and is currently running for the state representative slot in District 137. Dr. Baker, please come out and join us.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Pastor Kendall L. Baker. I'm running for House District 137, and I'm happy to be here. I've been a part of the Indian community for the last 10 years, so I'm grateful to be here tonight. My few minutes will be spent talking about why I'm running. I'm running because of my values as a Republican, values for family, values to protect the unborn, values to keep the country safe, and also values because of the protection of marriage between one natural man and one natural woman. I would like to say also that it's very critical that you know this, that I'm returning to the party that my ancestors were once a part of. Little that you know, African Americans came from the Republican Party. So I'm only returning to it because it aligns with my values. I'm also a conservative person. And one thing about the party, it believes in self-help. It believes in you doing it for yourself. It believes in you having your own business. It believes in your own personal growth rather than having the government to give you hand-me-downs. It's a pull you up. One of the reasons that I'm supporting our candidate on the top is because he's not your normal candidate. I know that you all know that he hasn't always been politically correct, but he has some great ideas to improve our dwindling economy. He has some great ideas to reform the health care. We all know that Obamacare is not the answer. We know that it's costly to the nation, and everybody is not interested in having those expensive health care plans and so forth. He's also interested in securing the borders. We have terrorists that are coming up and rising all over the place, building cells all over the U.S. and our U.S. interests. We have a candidate that's interested in putting a stop to that. And so we all want to be safe. We all want to stop the flood of immigrants from coming in, especially those that are dangerous to us, those that are bringing drugs over, those that are bringing people over, young ladies, and put them in sex slave operations and so forth like that. We want to put a stop to that. We want to reform our immigration. I'm married to an immigrant, but she came over from Nigeria the right way. And I married her, and her paperwork was approved up the right way. We want people to come in the right way. Like many of you out there in the crowd, you came over the right way. He's not talking about that. He's talking about those who come in the wrong way. I certainly don't want my wife to go back to Nigeria because I love her, and we have our first kid together after 6 years of marriage. And so a vote for me is a vote for jobs in our community. A vote for me is a vote for protecting the neighborhood and building the infrastructure. A vote for Kendall Baker is a vote for improving the education for our kids and those to come. So I'm asking today that you vote the Republican ticket and straight ticket, if you will, but in particularly those in my area in House District 137. We need help over there. And so I'm asking for your vote in House District 137 for Kendall Baker to lead that area. Many of the people that I spoke to are asking for change. Our curative person hasn't been doing much over there. They're saying they don't know. And I tell you, I hadn't known Mr. Wu until Gene Wu, until I ran the race. He pretty much has been absentee over there. He's well known in Austin, I understand, but I didn't know him as the leader of my district where I've resided for 33 years. And so a lot of people there are interested in change, and 90% of the 4,000 contacts I made thus far are saying that they believe I can make that change. With my 30 years of experience in dealing with citizens at the City of Houston's, both Director of 911 and 311, I have the experience that it takes to hear your concerns and have them solved. Thank you very much for having me here today at this debate. God bless you, and God bless this great country, America.
Very good. Thank you, Pastor. All right, to counter, or should we say, to offer a different point of view, I'd like to ask Mr. Ron Reynolds to please come forward. He's a local attorney specializing in labor employment and personal injury issues. He heads the Ronald E. Reynolds and Associates PLC, and he also serves as state representative from District 27. Representative Reynolds, we welcome you to the podium.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be here today as State Representative of District 27, which we're all in today. I represent one of the most diverse districts in this state and this country, and I'm proud of that diversity. And that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to be a Democrat, because the Democratic Party represents the melting pot of America. We represent the great diversity. We believe that in a big tent, that everybody can be inclusive. We're not a party of special interest. If you look at our convention, you saw the diversity. You saw African Americans, Hispanic, Caucasians, Indians, Asians. We saw America at the Democratic Convention. Contrast that to the Republican Convention, you didn't see that. That convention didn't look like this room. I know that the Democratic Party represents the interests that we hold true to our hearts. We believe in public education. We believe in funding pre-K. We believe in the best investment that we can make is funding education for all, not just for those who can afford to, in the privilege, they can go to private schools. Or we don't believe in supporting vouchers. We believe in putting our money in education so that we can get a great return on our investment. Ladies, the Democratic Party believes in equal pay for equal work. We don't believe that any man should be paid more wages than a woman for doing the same job. Republicans don't hold that same value. In fact, they're the party in the state legislature that voted to veto the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. And I strongly oppose them doing so. That is just wrong. We believe in a woman's right to choose. We believe that a woman's decision should be less up to her after consulting with her family and her doctors. That's what we believe. That's why there's so many different things that we can contrast. When it comes to health care, You heard Mr. Baker, and I have a great deal of respect for Mr. Baker. I don't believe that our politics, we should demonize each other. I don't believe that we should cast each other in negative light. We should have a robust discussion on the policies and issues. That's what we should have our debate on, not based on shoe size, how people look, what people look like, who they love. That's not the way we want to have debates. And so when it comes to the issues and when it comes to healthcare reform, Democrats believe that everyone should have access to affordable healthcare. Not just the well-off and the well-to-do, but everybody. No one should go bankrupt when they go to the hospital. We live in a society in Texas where we lead the nation in the number of uninsured. That is unacceptable. When it comes to criminal justice reforms, we believe that immigrants should not be discriminated against. They shouldn't be singled out. We believe in a pathway to citizenship so that everyone has an opportunity to become a citizen. That's why I urge you to support the Democratic Party when it comes to health care, economic empowerment, when it comes to voting rights. We don't believe in disenfranchising anybody. We believe that everyone should have access to voting regardless of what they look like. And so I urge you to vote for the issues that impact you the most when it comes to education, healthcare, women's rights, criminal justice issues, and those are the issues that impact us the most. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And let's never forget 9/11, 15 years later, we will remember those first responders and those who gave their lives for each of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You gentlemen were within a second of your time. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so let's go on now, and we're going to, this is my sheet is all screwed up. Sangeeta Dua. Yeah, I know she's over here, but I'm looking this way to see if did I really mispronounce it, and is she going to hit me for it? Because I told her if I really screwed up, she could smack me in the back of the head, you know, kind of like that guy on NCIS, yeah, slaps those guys in the back of the head. I told her she could do it. I said she could mark off her bucket list. She wanted to slap an attorney. So she may do that anyways, but hopefully I got it right. She said Gita. Okay, so I did screw it up. I'm going to expect it somewhere. Okay. She hosts a TV talk show called Political Issues called Diversity Talk. In July, she had welcomed Sheriff Adrian Garcia and Mr. Bill Calhoun, Texas Federation, Chairman of the Texas Federation for Republican Outreach, to discuss the election cycles. Ms. Dua, we welcome you to the stage and to the podium, and hopefully I've got it to your height.
Thank you.
Yes, please, give a round of applause.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. As the candidate before me, sir, you had mentioned all these issues that Democratic Party stands for, and I'm here to say that the new Republican Party that we have, it is the old Democrat Party. And on the other way, I'm trying to say that the Republican Party today is a party of Abraham Lincoln. That party started long time ago. It is the same party that just switched the sides about maybe somewhere down 50s. Okay, having said that, what I'm going to say is to vote for the Republican Party, vote for the Donald Trump. The reason why I'm saying that, because we're all Americans here, and my path to mainstream started when I landed to this country, and when I raised my right hand and I salute to the Constitution, and I said Constitution of the United States of America is my book, not the Gita, not the Bible, not the Quran. And that's what we stand for, the United States of America. And that's why we are here. What we need to do is elect the right candidate for us. Elect right candidates for us who is doing the right job. Not for the country we belong to, not the country where we came from, but the country that we live in right now. And where we live in right now is the United States of America. So what matters to us is the issues that we have to deal with on a daily basis. And to start off with that, I would say that the Donald Trump, he's not supported by the lobbyists. He's the one person that cannot be bought. He's the one person that is, I know that he says say no to the lobbyists. He does not say take any money from the special interest. That's the point one. Number two, the day before yesterday, we had a deal with Russia about the Syria. Who made it happen? Who initiated this effect to have the right friendship between the Russia and the United States? That was initiated by Donald Trump. And another thing is with the Middle East. This is the man we are talking about who has businesses, who has done businesses with the Middle Eastern companies and corporations and the big leaders on the Middle East countries and Islamic countries, who understands their mind, their mentality, who knows how to deal with them. And then another thing is the China. He has done a lot of business with Chinese people. He has given business to a lot of Asians. So he understands how to tackle those issues and how to deal with the corporations. When he is a great businessman, I understand that he had made mistakes, but again, you have to remember that he's not a politician. We have dealt with the politicians for all our lives, and where it has gotten to us. Here, are we happy with the government? No. Are we happy with the politicians? No. Why? Because this is what we've been dealing with. Let's give somebody else a chance, somebody from the outside, from the corporate world. Because all the change that we've been wanting for so many years, we need change. There we have a change, so let's accept it. He works for the veterans. He has written the 10-point things that we can do. As far as the Latinos goes, yes, we do need a wall because we do need boundaries. We have a country, so we need to protect our country that we live in. Otherwise, we will be in the rest of the world where we have all these problems going on and all these terrorism is going on, and that is bringing it here too. And then we also have, but don't forget that he does not consider the black people separate because he considers them a part of America, and that's why he considers them. So I would say that Republican Party is the right party to go with. So come, as we all Indians says, the Ganesha, it's a party of Ganesha. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm trying again. And nothing off the back of my head, yes. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's turn now to Ms. Amy Patel. I'm looking in the right direction because I didn't ask you how to pronounce your name. I hope I didn't mispronounce it. Amy Patel. I did screw it up. Well, I'm on course. I'm going to bat 1,000 tonight. Oh, I appreciate that very much. She said she won't hit me behind the head. I'm still worried because you never know where it's coming from. All right, Ms. Patel is a director of sales and marketing at a local medical supply company. She's also a leader in the Houston's community arts and culture scene. Ms. Patel, we look forward to turning the podium over to you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank the Indo-American Press Club for giving us the opportunity to come and just express our views. Like Mr. Scaria said, the Indian community is very shy from siding with any political party. And the reason being, we come from a very conservative background back home, but we are adventurous at the same time, and we have some liberal views where we mix in with other cultures. We actually respect other cultures, other religions, and that way we are a little moderate and a little liberal. So we are stuck between two ideas, conservative and liberals. And so we really don't know which way to side. From what I have been growing up, when I grew up as a child, we had very conservative views at home. But when I came to the United States, I was very quick in learning the culture here, in learning the language, and respecting other cultures, other religions. My friends forget that this country started with illegal immigration. If you look back in history, Christopher Columbus did not have a visa to come here. So based on that, we are all considered illegal immigrants. The other thing that I have to point out is the two things that are really close to my heart. I've been a healthcare professional for over 23 years. I'm going to talk on the two issues that really are very close to my heart. First is healthcare. There are 17 million plus individuals that are currently insured under the Affordable Care Act. These are individuals who would not have qualified based on their predetermined illnesses or their job status. And so we have given them the opportunity to be insured. I have seen firsthand where people will not buy their prescription drugs because they did not have insurance. And then it went to where they would go in the emergency rooms in a very, very critical condition. That put a huge burden on our healthcare system. This actually helps our healthcare system by insuring those people. I remember one instance where we paid $100,000 a month for one patient at the Methodist Hospital. And that's through the emergency room. And so the Affordable Health Care Act actually helps these people get some insurance and gets the hospitals to pay for it. So that is what the Democratic Party stands for. We believe in equal opportunity and equal health care for even the people that cannot afford it. The second thing is health care, is immigration, I'm sorry. So as an immigrant myself, I understand what problems and what issues I had when I came to this country. Getting an education was one of them. Just learning the language. We have our community, there are so many people who do not speak English very well. This country gave them the opportunity to rise and be successful. And so building a wall is not an option because we don't have the resources or the physical labor, manpower to build a wall. It is just not a realistic issue or a dream. We can't build a wall. We will cut off our ties with our allies, with our neighboring countries. We have fences in our house, but those fences have doors, right? We can do that. We can have doors where all these people can come in. Driving out the immigrants, the illegal immigrants from the United States, is not an option either. How are you going to gather all these people and kick them out of the country? That's not an option. Like the Honorable Judge said, make your choices. Not voting is not an option for us. And Mr. Trump and the Republican Party, I just want to say two things. Not every Mexican is a rapist, and not every Muslim is a terrorist. So please make your choice based on that. Thank you very much.
On time again. Man, this is good. Okay. From our Republican colleagues, I'd like to next ask Mr. Ramesh, and I'm going to screw it up real bad, Ramesh. Would you like me to try it, or should I just call you Ramesh? Excellent, thank you. Ramesh over here, my new good friend. That's right, they slaughter my name too. I'm amazed. Okay, is a financial planner and a community activist. I'd like to ask you to join us here. Thank you, Ramesh. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. My name is Ramesh Cherivirala. I think you need to try it out. It's a tongue twister for sure. But a lot of Indians won't get it either. So don't worry about it if you don't get it. First of all, I thank Jacob Iso for the opportunity given to me to be here today. I appreciate it. And one thing I want to say, the first thing I want to say is somehow the Indians were made to believe that they are Democrats. I don't know, somehow, once you are here, you get citizenship, oh, you are a Democrat. But guess what? We are more conservatives than anybody. We are socially conservative, and then we are fiscally conservative people. I don't know where we all went wrong. It became Democrats. Yeah, hope so. And the current Democratic Party, when I think about the current Democratic Party, I think about the Congress Party in India. They go right to the voting bank. They give free this, free that, free this, bribe them, feed them, or drug them, and get the votes. That's exactly what's happening here. Oh, we are going to give this for free, we're going to give this for free, that for free. Where is the money coming from? We have over $20 trillion in debt. Barack Obama, in the last 8 years, doubled the debt that he acquired in 2008. He got in when it was like $9 trillion. Now we are at like $20 trillion. Where is the money coming from? And about the healthcare, we talked about a lot about the healthcare. I think I can talk about a lot about the healthcare. I'm sure you all know about the montage Barack Obama has said to Congress and to the public of America what is going to happen when this Obamacare or the affordable health care is approved. What did he say? The montage is you can keep the doctor and you can keep your health insurance and your health insurance premiums are going to go down. Guess what? I'm in the business. Nobody wants to buy Obamacare. Trust me. Grow up. Listen to the people, what they are saying. When it comes to the Democratic Party and the Democratic supporters, they have an excellent skill of listening skills, like selective listening skills. They don't listen what is going on. They just want to listen what they want to listen. Nobody wants to buy Obamacare. No doctor wants to see the patient who has Obamacare. Okay? And most of the health insurance companies are getting out of insuring the people. The first one to come out of is United Healthcare. The second one to come out of is NIK NIKAM Insurance. And the third one, as recent as 1 week ago, Cigna Health Insurance Company got out of the Obamacare. And also, if you want to go and buy health insurance now, you cannot buy any health insurance other than Obamacare. And that too, you need to wait until the enrollment period opens. Okay, I thought I got a lot of stuff to say. Okay. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I wonder, when I listen to Hillary Clinton, is she running for President of America or some other country? I don't know. I believe what's going on. Let me close it by saying this. What difference does it make in the great state of Texas, whether you vote for Republican or you vote for Democrat? And it's going to be, Trump is going to win for sure. But you need to make sure, vote for your conscience and listen to what is going on. Don't listen to the biased media. Listen to other news also and see what else everybody is saying and then vote your conscience. I know it doesn't make any difference, but vote your conscience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. Oh, by the way, come back up here for a minute. I want you to try to teach me how to pronounce your last name.
Just as it reads.
Wait a minute. I should whisper in your ear how I read it. English is my second language. My first is gibberish. Okay.
Cherry.
Sherry. V. Rala. Sherry V. Rala. Ramesh, I will forget it again and I'll come up and ask you again, but I very much appreciate your patience with me. All right. Oh boy, I'm going to do it again. Just call you what? Jake. Jake would like to be coming up here and speaking to us. I'm going to try it though. Jawara. Okay. Mahotra. Oh, geez, I was even close. Jake. Pleasure to have you on board.
It's nice to have an attorney who's got a sense of humor.
Before Jake begins, Mr. Foster for the Democratic side was unable to make it. Mr. K.B. George down at the end is going to take his spot. But he has ceded 2 more minutes of his time to Jake.
Jake. Again, a history lesson. The first Prime Minister of India was Nehru.
Okay.
You're old enough to remember that.
Oh, geez.
And I was named after him.
Okay. Very good. Well, I appreciate that. Now, we'll begin. You got
Great.
6 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. This is kind of fun to do. I don't get a chance to talk to everyone that often. Usually I'm taking notes, which I've been doing all along. I want to point out something here. I would venture to say the vast majority of people in this room are immigrants. We've all come from the old country, we've all come for an education or a better opportunity. And we recognize what it is to be an immigrant. And for those who didn't come under such great circumstances, like the Vietnamese or the Arabs, the people from, right, exactly, and then Laos, Cambodia, the Hmong, so Somalia. So we understand what it's like to be disadvantaged, and it's also very heartening to know that you are accepted and you're welcomed into a country. That's the kind of country that I came into, and then the vast majority of you came into. I came into this country with an X-ray under my armpit of my chest, which was to show that I didn't have TB. So now, none of you had to put up with that kind of stuff, and that's what offends me about the rhetoric that I hear from Donald Trump. He ridicules blacks, women, Mexicans, people who are just not like him, not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. There was a guy called Jake Ananta, 18-year-old student in Charlotte, back on August the 18th. He was kicked out of a rally, a Trump rally, because he was brown. And they profiled him to look and said, well, he resembled someone who could do harm. So they took him out. He was an Indian. On the Mexican wall, which is another immigration issue, you know, it was a huge embarrassment for the Mexican president. But Trump came back saying that the Mexicans were going to pay for the wall, and that we didn't discuss it. Well, a couple of days later, he was there saying that it was discussed and Mexico was going to pay. So Trump has a history of doing flip-flops. You remember old George Bush, and he kept on talking about his opponent doing flip-flops? Well, Trump does flip-flops. You cannot trust this guy. I'm going to give you two more examples. George Stephanopoulos, ABC, is an interview. Trump went on to say, Putin's not going to go into Ukraine, okay? You know how it says, okay? So he went back and reiterated that, even though Stephanopoulos reminded him that Russia had annexed Crimea. So he came back and said, well, they would rather be with Russia rather than being on their own. Now, this is the sort of man who has not inspired me, and I don't care one way or the other, which, like Ramesh said, vote your conscience, but this person doesn't inspire any trust in me. And I'm much more, I believe a lot of you are very intelligent people, including Ramesh, who unfortunately is making the wrong choice. I'll tell you a story about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's father, Fred, was the son of German immigrants. He died in 1999. Fred Trump spoke German. Donald doesn't speak a word, but he's had several Eastern European wives. Fred Trump started the company in 1921. Fred had 5 children. One of them was Fred Jr. Fred Jr. was Don's younger brother. Fred Jr. was an alcoholic. He also flew planes. He didn't want to go in the construction business, the family business. And he died, and he had a son. The son had a child who was born with cerebral palsy, terrible disease, and the Trumps agreed to pay all his medical bills for the rest of his life. Well, when Fred Sr. died, he left a will. But in the will, he had struck out Fred Jr. Is already 6 minutes? Oh, shit. Okay, so anyway, Fred Jr., I'll conclude very quickly. He died, he didn't leave when they promised to pay his medical bills, the child medical bills, Donald Trump sued to make sure that Fred Jr., Fred III, would not get any money anymore to pay for these bills. Why? Because he was really offended by the fact that they had challenged the grandfather's will. If this person can do this to his own family, are you suggesting to me that he won't turn his back on his own fellow citizens? So, I really don't, I count myself as a Democrat. I'm proud to be that way, but I really am appalled at the turn of this state, not only this country, towards the Republican Party, which is pulling a really fast one, in my opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We've been going Republican, then Democrat, Republican, Democrat. We're getting to the point now where we're with our last speakers, and unfortunately with Mr. Foster not here, but we're grateful that KP George joined us. I don't have much background on him. Jacob was trying to speak to me. Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor. Last Republican, no, not the last Republican left. We still have two. I apologize, Dr. Nick. I would like to bring up on stage our next Republican speaker.
Nick.
You know, you're a troublemaker. Huh? But this is Dr. NIK NIKAM. He has provided cardiovascular services at the Sugar Land Heart Center since 1980. And he's a guy I need to see because I'm sure my heart's going to get cut out at some point again. Because I'm already a member of the Zipper Club. Okay, so, but I would like to ask him to come and speak on behalf of the Republicans. Thank you.
Check. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. This is the only chance a politician gets to speak to the Democrats, the Republicans, the Independents, the Green Party, and everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. NIK NIKAM, and I represent Triple N Media here in Houston, which is an internet and media-based discipline. Elections are exactly 8 weeks from today, and when you are standing at the election booth, there are only two things that matter, and that is, how does it affect you as an individual and as a professional, and what is the future of your children and yourself. Forget about the parties, forget about the candidates, forget about the standings, because those are the only things that matter for each one of us as individuals when we are standing at the ballot box. So let's remember that. And since he mentioned I am a cardiologist, yes indeed, I fix broken hearts. And I have been a cardiologist for more than 35 plus years. I know I look old, but it's okay. And as a cardiologist, all my life I have led a very conservative life. And based on those principles, I would like to say my whole life is geared on conservative principles. So I would like to argue on behalf of the conservative Republican Party, and I will tell you, electing Hillary Clinton will be the greatest disaster for the United States in the year 2017. Let me start off by saying, despite the fact Hillary Clinton has had more than 40 years of a political career, you may call it a distinguished career, despite the fact she is known all over the world, yet 8 weeks before the election, Hillary Clinton has 60% disapproval rate, which is the same as Donald Trump. That should tell you something about Hillary Clinton's record. Number two, by many media pundits themselves, Hillary Clinton has been called the most corrupt politician in the history of the American political system. Hillary Clinton is a darling of Wall Street. The hedge fund managers gave her $48 billion, I should say $1 million. What's the difference between a B and a B? Yeah. $48 million in donations. You know what? Hedge fund managers are the most astute, intelligent business people. They make money when the stock market is going up, when it's going down, and when it's flat. And if they give $48 million to Hillary Clinton, I'm sure they would. Huh? Oh, wonderful. That's good. Yeah. And Hillary Clinton is a darling of the corporate. This one. The Obamacare is the worst disaster. I can spend next hours, but he has given me only 50 seconds. I'm going to move on and talk about trade. The NAFTA and the TTP has totally destroyed the workforce in this country. And ladies and gentlemen, Hillary Clinton is the queen of flip-flops. 6 months ago, I created a video on YouTube on my channel, Triple N Media. You can go and watch it. It is, I got 10,000 views on that particular, this one. And the email scandal is not over yet. You're going to get the best of email scandals in the coming weeks and months. And also, think about this. Clinton Foundation. You should go and watch Clinton Cash on YouTube, which is a documentary which talks about their lives, their corruptions, their life, all these things. So when you take all this into consideration, I would seriously suggest you to think twice before you stand at the ballot box and cast your vote. Thank you so much.
All right, we're down to our final two speakers. Oh, yeah, yes? That's good to hear. All right, I'm going to do a flip-flop. Speaking of flip-flops, Doctor, I'm going to flop the order now. We're going to let the Democrat go first. Mr. George has already ceded 2 minutes of his time to my good friend Jake, who I mispronounce his name so bad it's not even funny. Huh? I'm taking 2 minutes from you. You gave them up. Now, a deal's a deal. That was an oral contract, but that's enforceable according to the statute of frauds. And I'm sure there's a number of attorneys out here who could back me up on that. All right, that said, I'd like to introduce KP George. He's with the Fort Bend Independent School District, and their motto is, I can't even read it. Inspire, equip, and imagine. That tells you how bad my eyes have gotten. I would like to have him come up, inspire us, and equip us, and let us imagine what life is going to be like. Thank you very much, Kate.
Absolutely. First of all, I didn't come here to speak. I came here to participate and see what people are saying. So, I'm filling in. So, I learned a long time ago, I never prepared anything, but I'm going to talk my heart. So this is what happened. You know, actually, my friend Dr. Nikam said, when you're going to that polling booth on November 8th, think about how it is going to affect next election. And I tell you one thing, I think Hillary Clinton's have their own problems, but think about it. Emails. It's a poor choice, and she agreed that, but at the same time, you know who I'm scared of? I'm scared of Donald Trump. Talk to a lot of people about it. And I will start, I only have 6 minutes, and I wanted to split it into 2 sessions. And in Texas, being in the education area, being the Board of Trustees of Fort Bend ISD, and I tell you this, when you vote, especially immigrants who care about education, think about it one thing, what is going on in Texas about public education. public education is going to be destroyed, and we have some experts here, and it's in the process of being destroyed with charter schools and voucher. They are already talking. This is all Republican ideas, and this is not helping our school system, and that's the same party you will be voting, and that's one thing. And we are the one paying a price, and our children are the one paying a price for those thought processes. And that is a Republican idea. We believe, I personally believe, whether it is Republican, Democrat, educating our children never should be a political issue. It is not. It is our future, and we should put money and we should put resources to educate our children. Coming back to how I am becoming a Democrat, I never grew up as a Republican or Democrat. And then I realized, there are certain ideals I follow, and I still consider myself as somewhere in the middle of the road, maybe a independent-leaning Democrat. That's what I consider. And I wanted to say this election is so vital. We have a candidate saying Putin is better than our President Obama. Come on, guys. And you know who Putin is? He is a person who is like a dictator in office for like the last 15 years. No. And also, let's put some numbers together. And in 2008, 2009, we have almost 11% unemployment rate. Now it is 4.9%. And you know what? If you wanted to give any credit to the president, give it to him. And also, we wanted to follow that value. And I'm also talking about Obamacare. Of course, it is not perfect. I agree with that. Talk to a lot of people. Because of Obamacare, there are maybe around X number of that. Millions of people are more. Covered by medical insurance. And I don't expect, I'm not here to talk for that because we need to fix that and we need to make it better. But it is a good start. I honestly believe that. And also, we have a presidential candidate who is talking about, let's talk about values. We talk about values here. I heard that this guy filed 4 bankruptcies. You understand what that means? Somebody paid for that, and he made money from that. Obviously, when you walk away with the bankruptcy, somebody is taking it in, and there is somebody did that. And also, this is a person always never listened to people. He always gave orders as a CEO. That's what they do. And you want a president like that? I don't know. And I don't think, I'm not here to stand here and say that Hillary Clinton is the best choice we have. But under the circumstances, he is, especially women here, he is for equal pay. And when you and a guy can do the same job, why you should be paid less? I don't understand. I don't comprehend that at all. I didn't grow up here, so maybe I don't explain to you. And I believe also scaring parties. How much time I have? Still up? 4 minutes? Okay, let's go. Okay, so understand this. I wanted to let you guys know that in Trump's ideal world, you all don't exist. Believe me that. Before you go to the poll, think about that. In his ideal world, I don't exist. That's what I understand. And you know what? We can all sugarcoat it whichever the way you want it. And he is a person, in my opinion, he talked convenience. He always said convenience. And whatever, okay, I said this and I said that, and I was talking about insulting women, and then he said he's joking. And again, I'm not here to talk about, basically, think about a presidential candidate. United States President's office is the most powerful office in the world. And you want a president walking around and talking these things? And then they say, yeah, I was just joking. And then he went to Mexico and came back and said, oh, he's going to pay for the wall. And he said, I never said I'm paying for it. So the point, I guess, what I'm trying to make is a person who is not, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, he's not a right candidate, can lead this great nation. And sometimes I wonder, he's talking about making America great again. I think this country is absolutely great right at this moment. And you know what? Ask people like us who came here with nothing, maybe $5 in our pocket, and we are living the American dream. This country is great. Only request I have, don't make big changes to it. Just let's go in. I understand the debt. The difference between, in my opinion, Republicans and Democrats, you know what? Republicans want to spend money on wars. Democrats want to spend money on other stuff to take care of maybe people here. And you know what? This debt we have, both parties contributed to it. Otherwise, tell me I'm wrong about that. Both parties contributed to it. I come from a financial background, and I kind of follow what is going on, and I understand debt is not a good thing, and as both political parties, they need to get together, and they need to fix that problem. Debt is not a good thing. It means you're spending more than you're making. That's what it is. If it doesn't work in a household, how it is going to work in a country? And they need to, both parties come together, and they need to decide what we need to do to fix that problem. And absolutely, I believe in that. But moreover, we all are going to make a huge decision in 8 weeks. Who is going to lead this country 2017 and beyond? Oh my God, think twice. Think as long as you want. I honestly believe it's time to think. And this is again, I'm not here to trash the Republican Party, and I believe maybe I disagree with certain things, and I think they also have some good ideas, and I take as a financial planner, and but we have a system. I came to this country as, I always said America is a great nation, where anybody could walk in. 1 minute. Okay. Anybody could walk in and succeed. That's what most of the people in this room did. We came here with a dream, and he came here with a passion, and he succeeded. And talking about America, America is a wonderful nation. I wake up every single morning thanking God for giving me an opportunity to live in this country, because America is great already. And I don't think we need to make it, of course we are continuing to make it better, but pandering to a group of people who are frustrated with what is going on, and based on that, getting their votes and become a candidate and hopefully become the president of this country, I don't know I can vote for that, a person like that. I honestly don't. And again, I repeat one more time. In Donald Trump's ideal world, I believe we don't exist. But think about it twice, think about as long as you want. Thank you very much.
For somebody that was thrust into it the last minute, he finished within 1 second of his time. I'd like to say thank you for that. And thank you to everybody up here on the stage. I still have one more to go. He thinks I forgot him. Oh, hell no, because he's been jumping on me all day long. But I'd like to introduce Mr. Lynn Swanson. He is, I could screw it up. He said his name was easy, I can still screw it up. Okay, Mr. Swanson is chairman of the Houston GOP Diversity Outreach, a progressive grassroots organization within the GOP providing an all-inclusive engagement of Latino, Indian, Black, and Asian community initiatives. As you saw noted in your program, Mr. Swanson advises the Trump campaign on Veterans Affairs issues. Mr. Swanson, we welcome you to our stage.
I want to thank Joseph for inviting me to this event and to this distinguished group of media personnel. Now, I'm more than just an advisor to Trump for Veterans Affairs. I am a Vietnam veteran. I'm also a veteran that is suffering from Agent Orange. And both sides of the aisle have failed our veterans, as you all should be aware of. And particularly, this last president has been the most failure to what our needs are needed. What I mean by that is he stood in the way of many of the things that he could have allowed his Secretary of the VA to do for the name of protecting VA union employees. Well, that's about to change. With what's about to happen, the 10-point plan that I helped advise Trump on, we're going to see real change. But I want to get back to some of the issues that have been stated on this. Everybody harps on the 4 bankruptcies. Mr. Trump created over 270 different businesses. And out of those, all of you are here are in business. Bankruptcies do happen, especially when you have different business concerns. But 4 businesses out of 270, that is still a 97% success rate. And the majority of his businesses are women-controlled. He has hired more females, and just look at his family. They're all involved in his businesses. So you can't say he's a misogynist, he is a narcissist, he is anti-woman. He is the furthest thing from it. And in a lot of cases, the women that work for him, it's not just equal pay, they get paid more. Obviously, because they're worth more as he is seen in business. That's why he's successful. Immigration. We get knocked left and right about our immigration stance. We are not against legal immigration. You all, for the most part, came here legally. And that's a key point of distinction. What we're talking about is illegal immigration. That is a key point. When you have illegals come into this nation under all kinds of pretexts, they're not coming in with skill sets necessary that will make this nation great. That is what we're talking about. They also feed on our welfare systems, social systems, and they don't contribute. They don't pay taxes. Y'all pay taxes. So why is it all right for those that came in here illegally to be allowed the fruits of this nation? Now, I admit there's reasons. I'm first generation Norwegian, all right? We came in here legally, all right? And we all brought talents to this nation. That is what Trump is talking about. We can't just accept anybody into our nation. They got to bring talents that benefit and grow our nation. When it comes to his business dealings, NAFTA, TPP, all the agreements that both Republicans and Democrats allowed, was that in the best interest of this nation? No. Look at the difference. Everybody says, oh, great Obama, he brought us down to 5% unemployment. For all you that's in business, you all kind of know that there's 98 million Americans that have dropped out of the rolls, and really our unemployment rate is really 20% unemployment. And amongst some of the minority areas, especially in our black communities, the age group of 25 to 45, the key working age, you've got 50% unemployment. So don't tell me how wonderful Obama was for this nation, or the Democrat Socialists. The Socialists keep praising their handout programs of helping the people. How is that enslavement of a 50-year social welfare program? You tell me how that has helped our inner cities. Show me how our inner cities are booming and teeming with opportunities. I'm not saying that we have all the answers, but continue with the same failed promises and programs of the handout, not the hand up. All of you sitting here are not here looking for a handout. You're all entrepreneurs. But the Democrats want to expect you to take your taxpayers' dollars and help spread the wealth. Well, there's some merit to that. Yes, we need to have a better education system without skill sets. And of course, my extinguished friend Nita over there with ACC knows about skill sets and workforce development. And of course, that is what this nation needs, is workforce development to bring our masses back into work, but not handouts. You can't continue to hand out that we can't pay for. Healthcare, it's a mess. You ask all you here in business, are you happy with having to pay for something that you can't use, the doctors won't accept, and your employees can't accept? No, that is not the program. And I'm telling you, from coming from Chicago and working with Obama in the very beginning, that was not the health care plan that we agreed to when he came to D.C. It got morphed, and it turned out to something that was totally opposite and is a disaster. Does it need to be reworked? Yes. Does it need to be the free programs that we see today? No. It needs to be something that the businesses can handle and stand and not have to lay off employees or don't even hire employees because they don't want to be in that margin to where then you've got to pay exorbitant health care that no one can afford right now. unless you've got the money, and we don't. When it comes to looking at Hillary, as some of my distinguished panel guests have mentioned, and even some of the other side, Hillary does have a long, distinguished career. But look at her career. What has she actually accomplished? Look at the Clinton Foundation. What has the Clinton Foundation represented other than the amalgamate of special interest and pay to play? Remember, the Clintons said that they were broke when they left the White House. And somehow, between the White House and to date, they're worth several $100 million because of the Clinton Foundation. Not because of great wizardry and investment for building their own businesses, no, by using the backs of the foundation and special interests. Look who's bought into the special interests. The Middle East, the Chinese, the Russians. Some of the same people that they're delegating us about and saying, we won't be able to negotiate deals. Well, how can you trust Hillary? She can't even trust her because, oh, excuse me, she can't remember that she deleted broken stuff with a sledgehammer. I mean, and oh yeah, she slipped and fell and had a blood clot. And she's having problems now. There's health issues. But that aside, when you go and you keep coming up with excuses as to why I didn't tell the American public the truth, or the simple fact when she had the commander-in-chief briefing and she said how we didn't lose one life in the Libya campaign. Well, I guess you forgot about Ambassador Stevens, the special officer, Glenn Smith, and then Doherty and Woods, the 4 people that lost their lives that could have been saved but weren't. I mean, the list just goes on and on. The Iranian deal, we know how that's coming out. How is that in our best interest at the end of the day? The Russia reset, how is that happening? And then now this latest deal where Kerry is saying that they did this negotiated ceasefire in Syria? Really? We didn't, that last ceasefire that was in February this year didn't last because they couldn't bring the parties to the table. And because there is no relationship between Obama and Putin, we can't count on this happening. So all I'm saying is that if you look in your hearts as businessmen, as businesswomen, you are conservative. And as conservative, Republican is your home. And we will have programs that is in our platform. All you gotta do is look at our platform. Our platform is about processes of the hand up, not the hand out. This is just the beginning. And if I had more time, we could get into deeper. But just understand, look at who's actually running, and the pathway is clear, especially for us veterans. We know that we can trust on Trump, and we can't trust Hillary.
I'd like to ask 2 things. First of all, each one of these people on stage told you how they feel, and I think everyone told us how they felt from their heart, and I'd like to ask you to give them a nice round of applause for sometimes it's very difficult. The second thing I'd like to ask you to do, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, a member of the Green Party, or just a flat-out independent, that you carefully listen to what each and every one of these people is saying, and then sit down and weigh it, and then come into the voting booth knowing who you want. We are facing a difficult time ahead, and we have a choice among 4 right now as to the 4 candidates, that including the Libertarian and the Green Party. And I would ask you, I would urge you to go into that voting booth educated, so that when you pull the button, you never see a bumper sticker that you can say, don't blame me, I didn't vote for, because that's not fair. It's not fair if you go into the voting booth uneducated. It's not fair to the person sitting next to you, and I would ask you to do that. That said, I want you to think one other thing. in, I believe it was 1977. I was dating a girl from Brooklyn, New York. And I went down to visit her, and we went to the top of the South Tower. There was an observation level up there, and you could sit down on the 110th floor with your feet against the window and look down. It was a quarter mile down, according to the little sticker on the window. I happened to interview for a job in New York City down on Pine Street. I was scheduled to go down there on September 13th, 2001. Unfortunately, that got delayed, but I flew in a couple of weeks later on a plane that held probably about 120, 130 people. There were 14. They had to make sure we sat all over the plane in order to distribute the weight. The pilot was kind enough, because we came up the Hudson, to turn the plane so we could look down at what was left of the World Trade Center. 3,000 people were in that building, or those buildings. What made it worse is because I was down there in the lower downtown Manhattan interviewing, there were no hotels available, or south of City Hall. So I stayed somewhere up about the middle of Manhattan. It's a half-hour trip by train down to where I was going. And I didn't know how the trains were running, so I got up very early in the morning, packed my pull-along suitcase, and went down there. I actually got down there at 6 in the morning. There were no police. I walked first to Pine Street, where I was having the interview, and the guard told me, there's nobody here to receive me. Go get some breakfast and come back in an hour and a half. I had already eaten at the hotel, so I wasn't hungry. So I walked the 8 blocks. No one stopped me. The same area that I walked in 1976 was now a pile of rubble. And somewhere in there were 3,000 people, none of whom intended to be in harm's way. So as we celebrate, and I use that very ironically, as we remember 9/11, may we remember the feeling, the loss of those 3,000, and the fact that regardless of whether you're a Republican or Democrat, they're all working for the idea to protect us. And with that, I'd just like to ask you to bow your heads, and I would like to say just a quick prayer. God, you offer us safety and security. And even though those people in the towers didn't have that same safety and security in their physical lives then, we entrust that you took them in with you and watched over them. And we ask you to continue to watch over